Stretchies. What's up, everybody? My name is Steven Sanchez. This is the first time video for drawing live. So I'm new to YouTube doing the live thing, but I'm not new to doing live casts. Instagram stories, Periscope, all that good stuff. Now, let's jump right on in. Let's get some artwork going and some stuff pumping over here. I've been at this for a few days here. Not on this actual image, but on tons of images. And I'll show them in a bit. And I just wanted to jump in and try out this new live feature. I thought this was pretty cool. I don't know if people can comment or not. I don't know how this works over here on YouTube. But if you guys throw in a comment, then I can answer questions if it's out there. And I can actually have a little bit more fun talking to you guys. So, I am drawing the Incredible Hulk over here, doing a little headshot, jumping in. And I'll be doing some Copic coloring, inking it, all that good stuff, which is already in that process to start the ink process. So I might as well get out the arsenal of equipment for said situation here. I'm using a 20.25 multi-liner from Copic. It's an awesome pen, multi-liner pen. And we have some Tombos. We'll get the Tombos out, get the party started. What do you guys think? Of course, why not, right? Alright, so we got all this stuff set up, popping it. I'm not sure if there was well, I guess I can fix that up later. Once again, still new to the live feature of this bad boy. But let's get some inking going over here. Although the nose still kind of bugs me, so I'm going to fix that before I jump on that, because we can't fix this in the end. So, alright, so I'm going to pop this up over here. Make sure we have the proper time. Get that little snarl of the Incredible Hulk out there. Checked out the the Winter Soldier. Carlos Torres, what's up? You've been missing Forbes for a while. Yeah, man. Just trying something new here, man, with the YouTube. Because I think I can also put these up on Patreon, which is pretty cool. So that'll kill two birds with one stone. Makes it a lot more fun, more interactive. I love Patreon, but man, it just kind of feels very quiet in there. So I think YouTube just added that functionality where you can do live videos and chit chat away, which is awesome. All right, so we know that the chat works in here, and hopefully people can bounce in and chat, and if they're not getting booted off by YouTube. Alright, so we're all set with this. I already fixed the nose. I don't know if I can zoom in. Maybe I can't. Oh, I can zoom in. That's awesome. Alright, cool. I know. I'm acting like a little baby. It does everything Instagram Stories does. Yay. Alright, we're going to jump in, do some inks. Anybody has questions about inking? Perfect time to ask. I was doing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles piece on 11 by 17, where you would call, excuse me, the professional boards from said companies. I'm not going to name drop the companies out there because I'm not trying to harm their business. But I am not a big fan of those sheets of paper. I'm using paper that I purchased from Walmart, believe it or not. I use something called Georgia Pacific. And this paper is actually awesome. It's smooth and it's cardstock and it's acid free. For some of you out there, I know y'all into the acid stuff, but hey, keeping it acid free. So, oh, the paper is called Georgia Pacific. It'll say GP real big on it. You can pick it up at Sam's Club, or you can pick it up. It's at Sam's Club. It's pretty cool because you can get 250 sheets. You get about 250 sheets for like $7.5. And at Walmart, you can pick up only 150 sheets for like about $5 and some change. I want to say $5.46, but it also depends on the taxes in your state. So here we go. All right, just doing a little detail work in here, so you can see the Hulk smash. Then I'll jump into some Copic coloring. It'll be a lot of fun. I like coloring with Copics. Got that nice alcohol smell. That's not the reason why I like to use Copics though, but I'm just trying to clear that up. They're alcohol-based markers, so you can get a good blend in there and make things happen, make that magic pop. You know what I'm saying? Just don't give away my secret, Carlos. Shh. I have a huge stash of Copics next to me right now. You'll give them a complex. Alright, so jumping in, some light detail work. Yeah, but if this works well, man, I can definitely utilize this as an option for it's hard to think and draw at the same time. I could utilize this option for Patreon, because I'm trying to get knuckles deep in that. And like I was saying in my Instagram, that, you know, being a Floridian and being a Puerto Rican kind of double slammed me in September. So I gotta get into Patreon and explain why the sudden absence. So I gotta make sure that I get in there. I have some family members out in Puerto Rico, so we wanted to utilize as much of the funds that we had to help out over there. Yeah, shit's pretty messed up, man. So we have some packages we're tracking. We're trying to make sure that it arrives. Hopefully, technically it was supposed to arrive yesterday, but I think they have a situation where people are robbing the packages, and so that's a new thing that we have to deal with. Hopefully they do get the package. Alright, so brushwork, rocking the eye, seeing the detail. That way you see that there's going to be a lot more detail popping in and out. Show me your drawing. I instantly fall in love with it. Oh, thank you. Thanks, bud. Yeah, I'm trying to get a little bit more push into the video realm here on YouTube. I love YouTube. It's kind of hard sometimes, you know, between work and life and situations that do occur. So I'm trying to work that out in the next 2 weeks. Get as much done as possible. Get more videos out there for you guys. I love doing videos. I love doing videos more than going to a convention, because I get to stay home, you know. I don't know about you guys, but I love conventions, but I like mainly more walking through the cons rather than having a table. My last convention was in 2011, and I never looked back. It was one of those things where it's like, it's just, I had been doing cons since like 2004, and I just completely got tired of doing conventions, and I wanted something new, and that new thing was staying home. Then we got a dog. That was like, what, 2011? Yeah, actually later that year we got a dog, like in April, because I did the Orlando MegaCon, and then we got my little Maltese, and he's healthy and sleeps like a son of a bitch, but hey, I envy him. So now I'm busting out all of the detail work over here. If anybody has any questions, I just came off of the Instagram live, and I was on this live kick, and I was just like, I wanna get back in it. I wanna keep doing videos today. I just wanna keep pushing videos. Maybe I'll jump on Periscope afterwards. I don't know. I just feel like I gotta play a lot of catch up, and I want to show the world what's going on. But yeah, if any of y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask. Don't shy away. Good morning, Virgilio 507. Sorry if I destroyed your name. I'm trying to be a bit more interactive with the people. That's what my therapist said. No, I don't have a therapist. Like I said, I don't like to leave the house. But sometimes I feel like I need a therapist. Alright, so we're jumping on to some detail work here. I like to just like really pull that detail out. And that's just to embellish on some of the shadow work, to go from dark to light. Thanks, bud. Yeah, I love detail work, man. It's one of those things where in the beginning it was something that I just consistently practiced on, you know, and I'm trying to get right back into it again with this weird, not weird, I hate saying that, with this affinity for the line art, where I start doing more linear looks, like what I just did right there, kind of like stone, and then I just jump in with some nice hatching and build that line work up, which at this point I'm using a 0.25, and since I'm trying to look for a thicker value, so I would refer to my pen of choice. I would say let's put it up to a 0.35, which is almost a 4. Bring that up, and I'll switch pens, and we'll go from there. Alright, cool. So now what this does is the thicker line helps me to not have too much of a thin line. As you can see, it still feels a little thin, but I can double back on it. This is where the work goes, you know. This is where sometimes people say, oh, your stuff looks so easy. It's like, yeah, it is, but I mean, now it is, because I've already put in all the work throughout the years and learning the process. But, you know, like a lot of artists do. So you have that nice little soft. Do you need this? No, you don't. Nobody needs the detail, but it just looks nice, you know. And you just you utilize it to the best of your ability, and that's pretty much it. You just kind of flow with it. I like to add little dots and crinkles, and it just adds to the effect. For there, I'm gonna add a little bit more of a thinner dots, because I want that stubble to really shine through. And this is a cool part, because the Copic multiliners. By the way, if anybody's looking to get Copic multiliners, I mean, I'll give a shout out to my buddy in crime over here. He runs Otaku Fuel. So check out Otaku Fuel. Use my promo code SANART, because that's gonna help out a lot, especially a lot of you guys that are trying to get equipment at a dirt cheap price. So check out otakufuel.com, and free shipping on $35 and above. It's always awesome. I used to purchase a lot of my stuff here in the beginning, and then I got sponsored by him. So yes, this is a sponsored. He doesn't even know that I'm still sponsoring it, but I give him a shout out as much as I can, because Sean's a good guy and he works very hard and he gets as much stuff done as possible. And gives you a feeling of texture, those details. Yes, definitely. That's the whole point of the detail work. It just adds to that black and whiteness of it, you know. Because then when you color it in, it's not as bad, you know. Not in the sense that it's going to be horrible looking, but so here I'm going to use, I used to use, for Micron Pigments, I used to use a 0.05, but now they have the 0.03, so it's like micro style. And the beauty of that is that, look at that, look how thin that little bad boy is. Can y'all see that? I don't know how clear the live cast video is, but that is one thin. Of course, I'm not gonna do all the little dots on here because it's kind of boring. But I'll give you a secret, and the secret is, if you sparse out the little dots, it kind of gives that small patchy look of man fur. If that's what I call it, man fur. So what you do is you kind of just sparse it out, and then you don't have to draw like every single little dot in there. You can if you want. Like I'll zoom in right here. You can if you want, but it just, if you give that staccato look, it really adds to the piece. So it's not like I'm gonna do the whole thing right now, but I like to just kind of jump in and out. You know, play with the timing. You know, a little here, a little there, come over here, come over there. You know what I'm saying? Then that way you can just kind of see how it's starting to look. And I always do that because I like to see the somewhat of the end result, putting in the finishing touches. All right, so we go back to my 0.25 and push this back. So yeah, once again, anybody have any questions, jump right on in, ask questions. If not, I'll just kind of figure out what I'm doing and I'll just ramble on about the current situation as to what's going on with the piece and make sure I get it on camera. Kind of the whole point I'm here. Alright, so I like to keep the lines tight and thin, because if you start drawing real thick, that's kind of the whole reason I was talking about earlier, which is the cool thing about the markers in different sizes is that this controls your line width, so you don't get that heavy-handed feel, you know. And if you don't want to break the nib, then you know you can't be too heavy-handed. There's a lot of people that I've seen just literally there was buddies of mine back in the 90s, long time ago, back in the 90s, and I would like ask to borrow a pen real quick, and all their pen tips were just fanned out like a watercolor brush, just completely in disarray. It's just like, what the heck did you put your pen through? You know, it's like, and you can see that they were very heavy-handed in the sense. Have you ever used a brush ink pen? Nope, never have. I plan on to. I hope I can one day. No, I'm kidding. Of course I have. I use it all the time. The Pentel is, you know, it's a pocket brush. It's a beautiful pen. Anybody who hasn't picked it up, they don't have them at Otaku Fuel, but you can pick them up at Michael's if you're in the United States, or you can pick them up on Amazon, and you can definitely do a lot of cool stuff with it. I'm gonna make sure I'm on camera over here. And sometimes I don't even follow the detail work that I've already pre-laid out because I get a better idea. Matter of fact, you know what? Let's use the brush pen. See that? And this is how I'm. Let me zoom in so y'all can see. Y'all can see my mistakes, because I do make them. There we go. See, and I gotta have that pressure control with these pens, because I murderize my my brush pens, so the tips don't really stay that fresh. Like I should pick up another one of these because I destroyed my Copic one, and but it gets the job done. That's how I do the borders to these images, and it definitely gets the job done. So everybody should have at least one brush pen in their arsenal. It is flipping awesome. Alright, so we have the lips all set up, and I'll jump in and I'll just get into the detail work of the teeth. And the teeth are for me, they're always fun because I get to make sure I get you guys on camera here. I like to draw the gums in, and being mindful that I follow that line and break it right where I need to break it, like that. Maybe even add a crack in there. It is the Hulk after all, you know what I'm saying? So you want to just kind of like crackle his teeth a little bit. Just jump right on in. Boop, boop. Just kind of show that grimacing and the crunchiness. the crunchiness of his anger. I just add a little bit of black in here to sparse out the gaps in his teeth. And it's all about taking your time. A lot of people think, oh, well, you know, I have to draw fast. Nope. Don't you dare think that way. Drawing fast is personally the enemy of any artist. Take your time. There's no rush. I mean, if you're on a deadline, of course, there's a rush, but that's technically on you. What is it? Harsha. What's up, Harsha? Hopefully I said that right. But yeah, when it comes to drawing, man, take your time. Do not rush. It's not a competition. You're not trying to be this masterful artist that has to get things done a certain way. It's like, no, just take your time. And that's what I like to do here. It's like normally during the day I'll put on some podcasts and I'll just like, I mean, I'm listening to like stand-up comedy podcasts, like stand-up comedians that I follow. And I'll just like listen to like Bert or Joe Rogan, and I'll just listen to their podcasts, the video podcast rather. And those things go in for hours on end, and I'll have that playing in the background while I work. And then when it's time to cook dinner, I'll cook dinner, and that's pretty much my day. It's not an eventful day, but it's my day. So see that? So you have a little fun there. And then I start thinking, well, if I'm going to draw the gums, I can go either full black in here, or I can just say, just give it just a skosh. And I can get in here with the detail work and just kind of play this out. Right there. You guys see that? There we go. Okay, so if I'm going full detail, I can add a little detail. I can add the X, get into that later. But I like to like really just jump in and just get that done. I really do like to see my pieces come together as I illustrate them. But I work in such a formulaic format where it's in pieces, you know. So I'll zoom out that way you guys can see what it looks like. Zoom back in. So it's a nice, I guess therapeutic is what I would call it, because you get that nice sense of calm. And for that, like for the nose, this is the best part, is you can like really get into the super duper detail. Let me see how far this thing can zoom. Holy pickles, this thing can zoom. Look at that. Alright, I'll try not to shake the table too much. Alright, so I'll just get in here and just wisp just a couple of lines in there. Damn, that is some tight zoom. Good for you, YouTube. I jump over here, just kind of get a little bit of the brow, just kind of add like skin imperfections and detail work. Right here. There we go. It's crazy. That's knocking futs. Alright, get over here. I'll just add the small amount of detail. And this is for people who are like really into detail. And just a little bit of skin imperfection. Okay, let me zoom out because that is insane. Oh, that was a detailed adventure. All right, and now I'll use a 0.1, and I'll add a little detail over here just to kind of embellish this a little bit more. Do I need to? Not really. But I figure it adds a nice little pizzazz, and we're doing a nice video. So why not, right? There we go. So just a little bit goes a long way. Just a little bit goes a long way. Yeah, some nice water. All right, we're gonna use 0.25. Get back into business. All right, so we're gonna just push in some lines up here. Just break it up. by breaking up hair or muscle tone and whatnot, you just add a little bit more interest, you know, when the eye is kind of looking. Because if not, you can make it look cartoony by just being too bold with the look. And if that's the style you're going for, then yeah, go bold. But in this sense, I can use the brush because that's a lot of detailed work in there. So I'm like, well, I can kind of decimate that by just easily doing this. All right, see that? Still keeping the lines clean though. And then I fan it out. It's a headshot, so we want to kind of get as much of the detail in those eyebrows. Alright, cool. I never understood why his eyebrows were never green. I think the Lou Ferrigno version was green, wasn't it? I think his eyebrows were green. I don't know, maybe I should do green eyebrows. I mean, it's a little late right now, but see how it adds that little light inflection in there. Awesome sauce. There we go. So now the detail work, because I can fan that out. There's a squirrel outside of my window. He's still taking poops. I'm watching you. He eats the bugs. Alright, so we have that. And then anything that I can't do with a brush, which I can, but I kind of get into that mode of like, I would rather do this with the pen. Yeah, you see that? So you add a nice feel to it. Boom. Alright, now I'm gonna clean this up. And yeah, man, this thing takes time. This is the inking process, not as much fun as the penciling process. With penciling, you know, you tend to just go all out. With ink, it's pretty much, I wouldn't say it's copying or tracing. A lot of people think it's tracing. It's not. But it's like for back in the 90s when I was messing around with inking, I was learning the process of utilizing brush, which I sucked at, and that's kind of the whole point because you're trying it for the first time. But back in the days, it was just so much more of a pain in the ass, especially if you were trying to break in, because the companies were so more into having like really high-end professional artists know their craft. So for me, when I was a youngster, you know, I would try to submit as much artwork as possible. Nowadays, it's not even close to what it used. I think it's nothing. I mean, I have zero interest in working for companies, but that's just me. But there's submission guidelines and stuff like that for people who are looking to submit and work for the companies. I got into comic books because I wanted to create my own comic book company one day, which was funny because it was like one of those little dreams that's like, oh, you know, get my group going and work with other artists, and then you start getting burned by other artists and people aren't paying. So it gets to a point where it's like you kind of pull your hair out, and I vowed never to do that again. But then I got back into it, and I wanted to try to do it again. And that was the whole point of Honest Productions, where I kind of came up with my own little thing to one day build that up. We'll see how that goes. That's the whole point of me doing what's it called again? Patreon. I do Patreon, build some funding, can get those books published the way it should be published. Alright, so it's building up a little faster. There we go. So at this point, do all the shadow work right around here. This you can tackle with brush, and then once I'm done with this, we jump straight into Copic markers. The fun stuff. So let me zoom out a little bit. What's this? Alright, so we have that. Now I'll just get that going. What's up, Gabby? There we go. So what are you guys doing today? What brings you to the YouTube universe here? Are you guys actually drawing? Normally I like to normally I get that a lot, where when I draw I'll have people pop in and be like, yeah, I'm drawing too, and it's always fun because they get kind of a podcast feel out of it while I talk a bunch of horse shit. It's not that bad. It's nonsense. No, but try to give, as much info as I can when I can while I'm alive. So, inspiration for drawing. Well, that's always good. Haven't drawn in so long. Well, what are you waiting for, man? Bust out those pencils, dust them off. Hey, these are the pencils that I use right here. The Ticonderogas Dixon. Some of the best pencils right here. I love these. I buy them by the box loads. Like when it's back to school, you just get them by the box loads. No motivation. I mean, what exactly do you need to motivate you? What's the let me psychoanalyze you right now. Like, what's your motivation? How does that make you feel? Makes me feel like wanting to eat cereal. Oh man, great. Now you got me want to eat cereal. I took the day off the drawing. I don't know, just need to feel it. Feel it. Well, it depends. What kind of artist are you? I mean, you're into the realistic stuff, you're into cartoon stuff. I mean, normally people who jump into to watch my videos, they tend to be more into the mainstream comic book cartoony type style. I don't get the bougie folks looking at me. You're both. Yeah, I tend to bring in the folks who actually like more of the toon stuff. I mean, I like stuff that's more serious as well, but I kind of gravitate towards the cartoon look, or the tight detail work sometimes. More that mainstream look. Anime style. Yeah, I jump on some of that sometimes. It's kind of weird though. I haven't seen many artists like illustrate the anime approach. Like, there's a couple of artists that I do follow, but they barely post, And sometimes I do that to myself. I'm like, man, I'm bitching about this artist not posting, and then I don't post, and then I kind of feel like I really feel bad because like, damn, I should be posting more. It's just time constraints. It kind of just slows me down, so I don't really have that time. So then I'm like, oh well, I see they're probably going through the same thing. Those time constraints. There we go. See that? So the brush just wipes out tons of all that. I mean, if I was to do all of this with this pen, it would have taken me the next 15-20 minutes just to slowly color in. I am otaku. What do you mean you are otaku? What does that mean? You are an Otaku, Otaku Fuel member? Is that what you're saying? The Otaku heads. Now here, what I'll do is I'll just kind of... This is why I love the brush ink, because you can get that nice old school brush look to your artwork. I always love that look, like that John Buscema look. And you just gotta play the brush. If you play it just right, you get that nice valued look in there with the dark to light. Because at first I was just adding just black. I was like, it's uninteresting, man. You gotta bold it up. And all it is just taking your time, as I was saying earlier. Just take your time and build it up. Obsessed with anime. Oh, is that what that means? You see, Sean never told me that. Sean runs Otaku Fuel, which in the beginning was like some type of anime place where you buy the plushies and all that stuff, but he got rid of that and he just made it more into selling artwork. Not artwork, but the art supplies. Artwork. He tried to do that once. We were trying to sell art prints for his Otaku Fuel stuff, but it didn't really take off. It kind of needed a couple of more pieces in there. Alright, once I'm done with the hair, we'll go straight into coloring. Am I on Instagram? Yes, definitely. Sketch Artist Sanchez, same name as my handle here on my channel. Yeah, there's tons of artwork up there. Go to Sketch Art of Sanchez on Instagram. You guys will see tons of... I got hair on my finger. You guys will see tons of artwork up there and videos and... I mean, YouTube is the video king, of course, but you'll see the small video clips and advertisement for my shop. Oh, yay! I have, like, these pieces don't go up in my shop. So if you're interested, check out www.buysanchezart.com. And then that way you guys can purchase original art at dirt cheap prices. A lot of artists get pissed off at me because I sell so cheap. Thanks, bud. And hopefully this gets you guys jazzed up with illustrating again, and because that's the whole point, you know. Just, you know, I'm here to try to give back and say, hey, you know, if you lost the love for the art, then let me see if I can touch you in the spot that makes you want to draw again. That came out creepy, but you know what I mean. And it always helps to have breakfast before I do these videos. Alright, cool. So I utilize the brush to get the job done. There we go. Kind of went for that old school haircut of his where he was kind of like half bald and half hairy. You're the only artist I can afford. I have Spider-Man, Mary Jane piece. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was a fun piece. Well, I'm trying to do more bulk stuff, because it's true, a lot of artists do kind of like, I don't know, just trust me, there's pieces I look at other artists, I'm like, wow, you get away with murder if you're selling it for that price, you know. It's insane. But and especially at the cons, a lot of these artists, I kind of feel like they really expand on those prices, like really expand. I'm using the Pentel brush pen. You can get them at Michael's or Amazon. They're refillable, so that's the real selling point right there. So make sure if you get them on Amazon, just type in Pentel brush pen. I think it's the FP10. Type in Pentel FP10 refill and F as in Frank, P as in Peter, and then the number 10, and that way you guys can check that out. All right, so we went from, let me zoom all the way out. We went from pencils to inks, all done. Now I get to erase this and we can start coloring it. I had no idea. I thought I had to have like X amount of followers or whatnot to do live video. I think that's what it was. I needed like 1,000 followers in order to do live video, or maybe YouTube took that function out. Yeah, people tend to gravitate towards the coloring aspect of my stuff. It's just more fun to see the colors just, you know, be added and it comes to life. So I'm just erasing the light pencils. The camera's shaking. Just give me a second while I finish this. And just a quick note: never erase towards the edge with full strength, because what's going to happen is the paper will instantly buckle on you. So trust me, I've learned that the hard way back in the days. Well, that's the beauty of it, man. I'm going to show you how to color. It's quite simple. You don't need tons of technical info like I used to get back in the days. I will make this look like a masterpiece. It's so good. And of course, before I start coloring, I'll show you guys some of the other videos I'll jump on next, which we have some Deadpool, we have some Darkness. Anybody interested in the Darkness? Then we have some Witchblade and Darkness in this one. We have Spawn and Darkness. I have a buddy of mine, he likes the Darkness, so why not, right? And of course, I forget the character's name. Black Panther. And then we'll jump real quick here and I'll show off these stuff, because I got to show these off on Instagram. So you got the Goku, Dragon Ball Z, we got some Voltron, we got Mighty Mightor. Anybody that's into classic Hanna-Barbera will know who the hell this character is. We have the new Domino from the Deadpool. We have some Majin Buu. If anybody remembers Shazam and Kabubi. Of course, I like this one. I know probably won't sell, but it's just one of my favorites. It's Magilla Gorilla. Hanna-Barbera's Magilla Gorilla, my version of it. So, and tons and tons and tons of other pieces. They're all in here. I got a bunch of pieces in here. So giving a quick sneak preview before I jump into the coloring. All right, that's all set. Let's go into coloring. It's already been 40 minutes. Thanks, bud. It's been 40 minutes. We're going to tackle this with some coloring. And the first question is, how do you choose your coloring? And I will try to answer that question as soon as I find my chart. Now, oh, this is so embarrassing. There it is. All right. So we have the color chart here, right? Gotta make sure I got a TMNT piece on the side. All right, so we got a coloring chart. You guys can pick this up at Otaku Fuel. I'll just give this bad boy here. And of course, this is the chart's free. You can download it. I think it's a PDF. So visit otakufuel.com and just search for the Copic marker chart. You can print it out. So if you have your own Copic markers, and pick up your Copic markers there. The refills are like $5.99. So you don't need a code for that. The code won't work on the refills because he already has it at the base price that he can sell them at, that he can legally sell it at. And but you can save on the markers with my code. Oh well, I didn't advertise it. If I advertise this on my Twitter and everything, this was something I was doing as a test. So just see it as that. It's just a test. I mean, you know, normally when I advertise it, I get a full 6 to 7 people in here. So it gets crazy. It gets crazy. But that's the chart. So we're gonna look at the Hulk, and we're gonna jump in real quick, and we're gonna nice. I like Hulk to have that softer tone. YG17. So let's see, yellow green 17, and we'll pop this out. Oh dear. You know what? I have to run and get it because I use it on the TMNT piece. See it right there. Okay, T. Go back to bed. had to run and my dog started chasing me. That's a beautiful thing about dogs, man. They don't care what's happening. It's like they see somebody running, they're gonna bolt. they're there with you. All right. So there's YG17. I was using this on the TMNT piece. Would you guys like to see that TMNT piece? Because apparently it's an 11 by 17 piece. So I've already started coloring it. Maybe I can do this live as well. That'll be fun. So we got that piece going. I haven't drawn 11 by 17 in a while, so. Alright, so let's go with the YG17, and then I have the YG67, I believe. Yep, those are my go-to colors. So hopefully this marker is not dying on me, because if it is, it's not good. Alright, cool. So there we go. We're adding the colors, we're having some fun, yay. Alright, cool. Zoom in a bit. So I'm adding the base tone colors. And the beauty about using the markers that I use to ink is that you can go right on over. And the Pentel brush is waterproof, and I believe marker proof too, because this is all alcohol based. And what I'll do is I'll flatten this whole thing out. It's just like Photoshop. Like if you're in Photoshop, you gotta throw in those flat tones to really get it. I use white on the I use a white gel pen. I'll show you in a second what I mean by that. Just let me get this out of the way here. Alright. Some people just kind of like leave that open like that. You can do that to get the true whiteness of the paper. Personally, I'm not a big fan of that. So what I'll do is I'll use a gel pen, a jelly roll. You can get these at Michael's. You can buy them in bulk on Amazon. And it's just like a ballpoint pen with a white gel in it. And then you can add that, or you can use the Copic, which you can also pick up at Otaku. You can use the Copic. It's like a little vial. I don't have it with me because I have it in storage in my cabinet. I rarely use it, but I should use it more often. Alright, so what I'm doing here is just doing the base tone. And so all begin to pop out in a second once he's all green. I have a She-Hulk that I'm gonna do too. It's a headshot of a She-Hulk. I haven't drawn She-Hulk in years. So lots of fun. And then the beauty about doing the base tone is like it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, can you do this with regular markers? You can, but you're not gonna get the color tones that you really want, because regular markers, they just tend to give you whatever the factory puts in there. You know, if it's like primary colors, you know, then it's like you have this one green marker, and then it just like for some odd reason it destroys the paper. And I'm like, and plus they're not like archival safe. You know, all this stuff is archival safe. So we'll get in here. And the cool thing about these markers is you get to blend them together seamlessly because of the alcohol. It just breaks down the other tone. So even though you're getting patches, that's fine because that's just the character that's going to be added into the piece. But you can always blend that out and it'll look like a smooth tone. And it's virtually impossible to screw up with these markers, because even if I bleed into the tooth, I can actually technically delete it with either the other marker tones, and it just bleeds right out until it's completely gone. So, but the markers can be expensive, man. That's the only downfall of these things. Like, ugh, you gotta spend so much money on it. Do you need the whole set? No, you do not need the whole set. Just let me put that out there, because the beauty of it is that a lot of the tones, they kind of like look the same. So, I mean, if somebody would have told me that in the beginning, I would have not bought the whole set. Or just gotten the tones that I needed. And you can also make your own colors too, which is actually quite neat. I haven't had that chance to do that yet. I think Sean sent me an open marker, so I can mess around with that. Alright, cool. So I left that open because I'm going to add some light on the sides. So a lighted value. So I can go with a nice little, like a YG01. Just keep it simple. Yellow, green, oh. Yeah, for the most part, people, you know, I'm doing this during the day. So for the most part, people are working, so they won't catch this till the evening time. That's another reason why a lot of people are not even popping in here. Which is completely fine, because technically I'm at work. Get it? I'm at work. Alright, so I'll use a Y11. A yellow 11. There we go. And I will color in the eyes. Just, yeah, I'll leave a little bit of white in there to show his sanity. Alright, so we're gonna come in here, put in that yellow. Close. Hang on a second, I forgot to connect my phone to my battery bank. Boop. There it is. We back. Alright. I'll just quickly jump in here, throw in that yellow in his teeth. Because it's the Incredible Hulk. His teeth aren't all that white. And just throw that in there. Then we'll do the gums. And the gums are going to be, you don't want them too red, you don't want them too light. So I jump in and do like an R12, just for a light tone. So I can get a chance to get in there with a little darker tone. That's skin tone actually, but I'll fix that in a bit. There we go. Put a little bit of skin tone there and there and there. Awesome. Keep that out just in case I have to blend it in. Alright, cool. 53 minutes in. Not bad, not bad. Let's get some browns. Let's go with a nice E53. Yeah, let's go a little more muted. E43. I'm gonna mute these little, like some will be kind of like stone and some will be dirt, I guess rocks. And then Sean sent me a nice little airbrush machine, which I tend to use with the markers. It's specifically, well, it's an airbrush machine, but I use it for the Copics because there's a little device that actually lets you connect your Copic markers. So maybe I can use that for this piece. Let the fine people know that they can also pick up the generator over there at Otaku Fuel. I think he's got like one left. But it's awesome though. I've never used one, and this is the first time I used it. I just geeked out. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I can see the fascination behind the airbrushing community, especially if you're doing like little characters and stuff like that. It's just pretty cool. All right, cool. So we're all set there. Peach is all set. I'm gonna add that green into his eyebrows, because I know his eyebrows are more of a dark green. I think maybe I can use this one. Yeah, that looks good. Me like it. Daddy likes. Alright. So I think Lou Ferrigno had dark green eyebrows. Could be wrong, but I want to see yes he did. And the dark green hair. Awesome. And for this one, I'll keep just a little bit of the white. Just a skosh. Because that'll help out with the extra white lighting. The gel can only go so high in the value of white before it just breaks down. I'll make the eyes green. Nice and green. Here we go. And I think that covers the base tones of it. Awesome sauce. Alright. So now the next step is the YG17 was used for the base tone of the green. Yeah, it's too light. I believe YG16 is going to be a little bit too. You want to go dark but not too dark. A green 7 could work. Green 7. Let's see how this works out. Alright, we'll pop this in. Now that is a vibrant green, so we don't want to get it too vibrant. But it's got a nice... There we go. Pop in. Pop in over here. Yeah, there I can blend that in. Think we can do it. Oh yeah, that should work. That green should make it more valuable. Valuable. Super delightful. Alright, let's pop all this in here. Alright. Probably get a little darker in there around the eyes. And then we'll just bring this up. Like that. And that black is just going to go around like that. So the green is starting to actually take shape in the shadows. And we want just a little bit around the lips. Like that. Just a skosh. And then we'll go underneath the lips. And see, it's all shapes. So you want to make sure that you respect the shape. There we go. And just kind of bring it up this way. Just bring it down. There we go. That looks amazing. That's amazing. So now it's popping up. And I'll bring that in like that. Alright. Thanks, DC. Thanks for stopping in. Alright. So I'm just putting in the secondary tone here, which is the dark green. Building it up. Shadow tone around here on the lips. Then we'll blend it all together and it'll look like a Picasso. Or kind of a Picasso. Or not a Picasso. It'll look like something. More like something we baked in the oven. But I promise it'll look like something. Alright, cool. So we have that. Then we add just the basic The beauty of shadowing is that you want to add it in all the simplest places first, because a lot of people get confused as to where do I add the shadows. Like, well, if you attack the simple places where logically it says underneath the eyes, because it's kind of logical, then you take out a lot of the guesswork when it comes to the other spots. So it's just a smart way of going about it. And then shadow tones like this can be added as a secondary, and then you work your way right up to it like that, and then you bring it out this way, bring it up this way. See, so now you've broken it up. So now you have a little shadow tone here, light, and then it gets into the base tone. And I love that look because I might get a little darker in there. Yeah, all that was the same tone. Okay, so yeah, because I colored this the same tone for his eyebrows. Alright, so then over here we have shadow work over here, so we're going to just start pushing in those shadows to focus on that. Like that. So, yeah, so now it's starting to take shape. And that's what you want. You know, you want that shapely look. And all you're doing is building on it. And I'm using these lines here as guidelines, just to shape it out a bit more. It's the Incredible Hulk, you know? Why not? Cool. So technically in my head I'm already looking at it like, oh, that looks like it's done in the sense of base tone, the secondary part, which is the shadows, the dark shadows, and then now we tend to kind of just mesh it all in together. So I based it with a YG17. The cool thing about the YG17 is that you can increase the tonal value of the base of it. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because that was dark green in there, right? See, but now I can utilize the same tone to really blend all of that stuff together, and it becomes one, because now I'm breaking up the tonal value of the dark green, which now is telling me that I am blending. See that? I can get in there with just a little bit light, just to lighten it up. So if I have YG17, I could probably use a YG7 and get away with it. Let's see. Yellow green, yellow green, yellow green, yellow green. 7. Actually, I pulled it up. Oh, I did. Oh, because it's a YG3. Yellow green 7. Alright, so I'm utilizing a yellow green 7. See, now that that's dried up, I already see where it's going. And I can just kind of play with that again and just get that tonal value in there. See? So now I'm beefing it up. And I'm not even adding the dark stuff yet. So for me, that looks like very vibrant and colorful. So now I'm blending in. There we go. See that green pop? Ooh-wee. That right there, dinosaur milk, boy. There we go. So I'm just adding on the lips. Second on the lips, lifetime on the hips. There we go. See that? And then I'll just go back to YG17, which was the base. And I just paste that up. So I'm rocking 2 colors at the same time. But the intermixing of the tones really just starts to gel. It just makes it pop and lock. And a G20, I have a, oh, you know what? Smart, because I can actually utilize this to break up. There we go. See, if you go quick enough, you can blend it in real quick. Just break that tone up. See that? There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Now we in business, because now I can just blend out those small tones. I go back to my YG17. That's a G7. There we go. The reason why you go back is because it breaks it up too much sometimes, that you have to go back and just tighten it up just a little bit more. And it fixes it right up. See that? That way you can get those sharp cuts back in there. See? So now it's blending just nicely. And I still have to get in there with the inks for his hair. Alright. Just jump that up. And then jump that up. And just bring that in like that. See, so we're adding so much flavor to it with just green tones alone. And it's just building right up. There we go. See, so they're starting to blend together. So now I just focus on one tone at a time. Because once you have all this all set, and then what you can do is you can actually just write down the numbers and know that this is your go-to marker whenever you do a certain character. So it helps out immensely to just not have to go to that chart constantly just because you're doing that one character. And then this is where I'll throw in the gel. So here I'm confident enough to know that I've already done my homework with the lighting. Jump in there, just start pushing out all of that dark green into the open zone over here. Same thing over here. Just let that leak in there and just push it back out. It'll break up. It'll dissipate all this edge. You know. And when it breaks up the edge, it's saying that it accepts that value coming in. See that? Just give it a second. It dries up nice and comfortably. See? So everything that looked like a characteristic of the skin is now breaking apart because I'm making it break apart. See that? So I'm blending it in. Alright. I can come in here and just kind of... Then I'll utilize the yellow to like really enhance. There we go. So it breaks up any of the remaining green that was in there. It didn't break down right, you know, so I'm breaking it down for it. Just like, yeah, I want this a little bit more blended in, so I'll blend it in nicely with the lighter tone. Alright, that looks good. This way. There it is. That is a fully blended Hulk. So now we're going to add in the darker tones. And I'm using a YG67. And then that should look nicely blended. His skin tone. I still have the eyes, the teeth, and the hair to do. So I'm going to go with the dark blend mode up here. Slightly blend that right back in. I think it's the base tone that I used. There we go. Let's rebase all that. And now I get to add a little bit of dark tone in here. I'm using a YG67. The darkest tone is a G28. So I don't want to go that dark, but let's see what this does. It'll take us into a whole new realm. Alright. So what I'm doing right now is it's adding the sharp cuts, sort of like Photoshop when you're doing the selection. So it adds the sharp cuts, and I don't have to blend it in as much, because I already did the pre-blending. So here you can just play with the design of the tip of the brush and how you can design the flow of the color going in. So now it looks like it's being painted and it's being cut in. So you can see all these, like the cut right there, because I already pre-blended everything. So this is how I would normally do it in Photoshop. And bring it in. Alright. And you just kind of bring it out this way. And bring it out that way. There we go. That's not even adding the highlights yet. And we add the highlights, because this is already ready for highlights. So now I'll take the jelly roll and I'll just jump in and just kind of dot it all up in there. Get those highlights flowing. Not too much, just enough to let you know that there is a little bit of light going in. That. Zoom out. See all those specular highlights just popping. And I'm gonna get some on the nose over here. And on the bridge. So all these spots right here are ready for specular highlights. Alright, awesome. Okay, so now it's starting to pop. Of course, you ever mess up, you go with it with the marker that you based it, and the specular highlights are gone or they're softened, which I tend to soften just the edges a little bit. Alright, and then we'll jump on here, jump on here. Like that, just to break the monotony of the lips, because then I can blend that up a little bit. There we go. So now we're adding that dark tone and just building all of that dark tone up. And the way I break that up, I go back to my YG17. And I just go from dark to light. Just break that down this way. See that? There we go. So it just builds up. Boom! Alright. I'm going back down here. You break the blend. Whoop. There we go. So all these little lines are adding to the final look. Sometimes if you have to go back in with the same darker tone marker to emphasize it a little bit more, do it, because it's actually adding more of that tone. I mean, there's only a certain amount that it can add, but when it adds it, it's saying that's it. That's as dark as it's gonna get with this marker on this paper, because it's probably bled through already. So it's all that bleeding already. Like the darker tones already shows me that's as much as I can go. You know, at that point you would have to switch out the marker and use something else. But I like how that dried up. You got that nice little tonal value change in there. And this is, I'm using the YG67, which is a little darker. So I'm putting a lot of darkness on that edge of his face. And just bringing this down here, and we're adding shadow coming down, going upwards like that. Knock this out the way because it's faster. And of course all this is just dark tone in here. I know it's riveting. It's amazing that a lot of artists can actually sit down and do this for hours on end. Normally I would have the TV playing in the background or something, or listening to a podcast while I work. It's not as fun to watch unless you're trying to learn something. Then it becomes kind of a pain. My forehead's right on the screen of my iPhone, so it's actually quite hot. Didn't know it could get that hot. Yeah. All right, cool. So we have that. We'll add a little specular highlights onto his brows, and then we have some of that in there. So all that green's making it pop out more. Then after that, we'll get onto the teeth, and the teeth will be that secondary part, because this is the primary tonal value, is that skin tone. And I like to whisk it out and do a sharp cut there, kind of like anime. There we go. I like to play with the shapes. It's always a lot of fun to play with those shapes. There we go. Yeah, I think that looks pretty much done with the green. I can get in with just to add a little color variation for the original. We can do something with a green 9, which adds a little oomph. Yeah, this one right here will definitely add a little oomph to it. It is a very vibrant green. And here, got a piece of hair in there. And this is gonna add that character to it, because you're not expecting it. So it adds that value change in there. And as it dries up, it gives a little bit of that glossiness, that glossy look. Because it's not only is it dark, but it's also a higher point of saturation. So it's just, when you encompass it over all of the lines that I'm about to go through right now, it really adds that juiciness to it. So being very careful where I throw it, it aids me into making the piece look a little bit more interesting. Because it is a headshot, you know, so you have to compensate for that. So I say, well, how do you take a boring headshot and make it something? It's like, well, you gotta add values. So you see the difference? This side that doesn't have it to this side that does have it, it's just giving it that more juicier tone. And of course you want to add the jelly roll, which then adds a little bit of specular highlights to it. And just keeping it just a skosh. Skosh. Boop. There we go. And once I add the teeth in, grit it all up, and then add a little bit of background, the piece will become more alive. It starts to pop. This whole section is pretty much done. I just gotta do the bottom of the lip. dab it. Takes away the sharpness of it. Then I can go over it with the marker. That's all it is. See, like if there's too much there, then I'm like, all right, cool. Take my marker. If I over added a sheen to it, the beauty of this is that it breaks down the alcohol breaks down the jelly roll marking, and it just completely starts to disappear. Now, of course, it's black, so I can always throw black on top of it, but I just want it to combine. So like if I take the brush, it's a little bit round, so I just want to make it more sharp. There we go. And that's how you do a cover up. Boom. And then that begins to take shape. So now take the G09 again. This is a nice what I would like to say sharp marker in the sense of color, vibrancy, saturation. There we go. And I throw it down the middle. So you wouldn't think to throw it down the middle, but you gotta throw it down the middle and on the edges. Everybody's like, oh, what's the secret? There's no secret, but if you want to call it a secret, I guess you can call it a secret. It's not that it is, but just throw it down the middle, nice and bold. Don't be afraid, it's not gonna damage anything. It doesn't look right. Yes, it does. You gotta believe. Believe in yourself, boy. Alright. Bring that in. Bump, bump, bump. Just slightly throwing it in certain areas. Keeping those areas alive. There we go. Bump, 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 bump. Perfect. So you see as is just livening itself up. You know, you've added that saturation change in there. And it just looks juicy. It looks juicy. There we go. And it dries up, and then it looks like something that's already been pre-published or. There we go. Alright, I come in here. And I can come in here like that. I can always blend that out. It's not dry up, that way I know exactly where I am. And alright, done. Perfect. Oh, hang on. Thought you can get away from me, huh? That's probably the hardest part, is making sure that you're consistent with the whole thing, because the color tones are pretty much almost the same, so. There we go. Beauty. So there it is. You have the Incredible Hulk looking massive. I'm gonna decimate you. I used to love that. Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends. Add a little glimmer. Nah, it's gonna be too much if I add it there. I gotta blend that. Alright. Now that that's done, I will jump in and blend that in. YG67. Let's go with the YG17. Alright, we're gonna blend this from dark to light. From dark. Yes.
I ordered just, you know, they were.
I'm recording. That's right. Hang on a second. I'm almost done. Alright. There's my wife asking me a question. I gotta make sure I wrap this up first. You're thinking, oh, you ruined it. No, I didn't ruin it. It's hard to ruin this. I gotta let it dry out. Oh, pickles. Tino. There we go. Come in here. So now I'm gonna add the lips. Just add that in there like that. And then we're gonna add Tino, hush. Stop being a punk. Like that. There. Alright. Dot over here. Dot here. So now I'm just adding the specular highlights. I guess job done. Getting all of that tutti frutti out of the way. Down there. And where else? Right here. Like that. Alright, cool. So all of that is specular highlights. Oh, gotta blend that out. See, as you start going up, you start seeing spots in what you missed. So let's go with, I think we could do this one. Yeah, we'll just break this up. Break up that monotony. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I like to have the colors blend, you know? Then you get in there with a sharp look. You kick some butt with it. All right, we're 88 minutes in. Not bad. You know, I went from a pre-penciled piece to inks to colors. So now we're going to start focusing on the eye tones, a little border, and then we're all set. And then that way you guys can have that information that you needed in order to color your own stuff. If you have any questions, either leave them in the comments below or you can ask right here while you're still live. So we're gonna go in. We're not gonna go too dark with the teeth. Just gonna go just a little bit. I can do a Y15, and we'll see where that takes us with an E40. So we're gonna take out the E40, and I already took it out, and a Y15, right? Oh, that's too dark. Let's go with a Y13. Make sure I don't have it out already. So I'll do a Y13. There's always a bitch looking for it. Apparently it's out. I'm gonna do the Y11, which is fine because I already have that base tone in there. That's fine. All right, so we're gonna jump in. There we go. Oh yeah, actually this works out way better. So I'm using the same tone that I started with the base value. Alright. Alright, so this is a Y11. Yeah, you can still do that. Y15. And we can break down the yellow one. Hang on, let me zoom in. I gotta do the Incredible Hulk music from the 80s. Alright, so we got this. See, it's very vibrant, so I gotta be careful. I use the Y11 to blend it out. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. Alright. So we have that set. You don't want it too white and you don't want it too dark. Alright, so we got this, we got that, and that, and that. Alright. Just break up the teeth. Just to... There we go. Still needs a little bit of gray in there. And then we can pop that out. Let's see. It's too dark. I have some gray over here. I'll use a C2. Alright, we'll use a C2. And there go the neighborhood dogs. Alright. I'm going to split this in the middle. What's going to happen is this is going to add a little character interest to the tooth. Like that. Just color all that in. See that? So now you're adding actual detailed points into the tooth. A little simple value change and color change. Shadow change. Alright. And bring that all in here. There we go. Cool. So we have that in there. And now I go back to the base tone. And what you do is you blend in any parts you don't like. You know, or just enough to really get that looking like a part of the tooth. So I like to really get in there and just lay it down nice and thick. I like his teeth yellow. He's a mate eater boa. No one ever shows the Incredible Hulk chewing anything, eating anything. It's like, well, you're telling me Hulk don't eat? He's got to be Bruce Banner to eat? That don't make sense to me. That makes zero sense to me. That boy likes to eat his meat, boy. He's a meat eater, boy. Get in there, boy. Show me what you got. Alright. So we got that. Blend all that out. See that? Boom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nice and high value tone. Perfect. So now I can jump in and just do a Y00. It's super light. I could do a yellow 0 and just completely wash out the 11 because this thing is like mad light and it's gonna dry mad light. I know it looks like you're messing it up. I'm not messing it up. I knows what I'm doing. Oh wait. Alright, then we let that dry up and that grayish tone will start to dissipate. See, because if I flip it around, see, if I hold it into the light, say cheese. See that? It's still drying up. There's the full image. I'll put back the marker before I lose my mind. And that is the wrong spot. I would have lost my mind. There it is. Yeah. So, I gotta wrap this up. Oh, that's right, the eyes. Let's get Dude's eyes going, because then I can actually do... Oh, yeah, you know what? I can dab it. That's gonna look good. Get good. All right. There we go. Super dark and angry. A little gray. The gray gives it more of that, I don't want to say movie feel, but it actually has more of that cinematic feel to it. You know, because you're adding all that gray in there. I like to have the gray just really soaked up. And it's funny, it's like, well, didn't you just erase it? I was like, yeah, but shut up! I know what I'm doing. Yeah. There we go, right there. Just a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. Perfect. Alright, then I'll just do his gums, get it nice and dark. Get it there, and then I'll blend it all in with the Y11. Oh, even better. The Y00. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna get these gums a little bit darker. Is there a little? I always gotta remember the damn gum color. I have such a tough time. I think it's R22. Yeah, R20. Yeah, I can get away with an R22. What was that, an R12? I can do it. Let's do it. I think if I add a little bit of gray into it, it'll make it pop. Let's see if I'm right. Let's see if I'm right. All right. Get in here with the gray, and the gray makes it all better. Because I'm muting that powerful saturation in it. There we go. Just blend all that in so they get that nice tonal value. Then I'll get a little bit of that. Well, that's yellow. I don't want to use that color. I get that yellow in there. Just get that, blend it out a little bit more. So you see, a lot can go into it. This is just the teeth. There we go. So then I missed the top part. That's all dark. That's all dark. All right, so we're all set with that. All right, I think I think that does it with that. Actually, I'm gonna use a 3. So I use a number 3 to darken up a little bit of that shadow underneath his gums. And I have to go slow because I think I'm running low on my ink, or rather my tonal value. There we go. So now there's a little bit of so that actually starts working out well. Yeah, I think I'm running out of the Number 3, I got a refill. Alright, so we have that set up. And then soften that up a little bit. Just get that in here. That'll break down. Boom. And then we'll add it, well, we added the white. So we're all set there. Alright, cool. So that's all set. Then I can start focusing on these tones. What the hell did I use there? Ah, that was an E43. I'm gonna do an E44. There we go. E44. And then we can get these little rocks all out of the way. Doot, doot. It's kind of old school coloring. I used to do this back in the days of comic books. Where we just kind of spot color shadows. It's like comic books were horribly colored back in the beginning, till Photoshop, you know, came into play, because Photoshop fixed everything. All right. And then I'll just jump into this one. And we'll just blend it right back up. But back then they used watercolors to really paint their stuff. That's why you look at the old comic books, they had that weird blended look. I got to see it once how they did it, and it was just like, wow, that's a complete mess. But it worked, you know, cost effective. Alright, so we have that set, and we're already into 100 minutes in, which is great. So I'm gonna wrap this part up, pop it up in my shop, and if I'm lucky, I can pay my light bill. Alright, so let's do something fun here. That's a green 0. I'm looking at my color chart here to try to dissipate. I can do a green blue. That's a green. Nope, that's too light. So we can do if the Y28 could do it. Let's try it out. Y28. Son of a pickle. There it is. Alright. I'm just gonna get back into the tooth over here for a second. Just kind of feels like it needs it. It needs that bounce. Bouncy tone. Yeah, that works. Just the edges. Tweet, tweet. Awesome. Cool. That works. We're almost done. And then we can get into green 00. I could probably do that. Let's play with that. Green 00. Just kind of. It's just it doesn't show up as well in the scan when I'm ready to scan it, but I'll use this as a soft base tone. And add to it. Alright guys, this will be up in Sketch, as it was at www.buysanchezart.com. This will be up in the shop, and anybody can buy original artwork there at a great price, because I'm a great guy, man. I'm not a douche. I know how to sell. I'm not a douche. Alright, there it is. Very simple. Very easy. Anybody can do this. Despacito. Despacito, everybody. And there it is, guys. I'll probably add just minor glitz and glare with the white here and there. And then it'll be ready for selling in my shop. And yeah, a little bit of white in there. I'll let that dry up real good. Nice. Cool. It's got that one yellow tooth, boy. Yeah. Cool. So that's the Incredible Hulk. There it is. Catch him on UPN. Saturday mornings. No, I'm just playing. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. Yeah, a little bit of yellow in there, just to break it up. Me likes. All right, that's all set, guys. Thanks for watching. Real quick, get your art supplies over at otakufuel.com. Use promo code SANART and save. I think it says like 10%. Maybe, I'm not sure. Free shipping on $35 and above. otakufuel.com. Boom. And you can get all your Copic markers there and refills, and these things are wonderful and amazing. So hopefully this live video cast gave you guys some more insight onto how to color, how to go about it. There'll be a lot more videos, and hopefully they aren't as boring as the following ones as they come. So with that said, thanks for watching. Be good, be safe, and be human. Bye.